Hello, everyone. I haven't really posted a video in like a week, and that's not really a big deal because I have a very small subscriber count. But I have been noticing my subscriber count gain numbers during this week that I haven't really been doing shit, so thank you guys for listening and wanting to hear more. Sadly, I have nothing to say about Dragon Ball Fighters because nothing fucking happened with Dragon Ball Fighters. There's no really new news, and that's because we've got everything we need to know. I do plan on posting videos of me playing the beta, and I hope everyone is playing the beta when it becomes an open beta. We should all just have a good time. Again, I don't really want to talk about news. This is more of just an opinion channel, so I'm not going to be trying to break stuff to you guys before anyone else. I'm just going to be like, hey, Vegeta's fun to play as in this game. That's basically my whole intention. But now Crunchyroll is up. It was down yesterday, and it was also there was no new episode of Dragon Ball Super on last week because of New Year's. So I finally just watched this episode, and it was the first fight between Goku's universe and Jiren's universe, and we got to see Vegeta fight in it. And there's the next episode hinting that Vegeta is going to go beyond Super Saiyan Blue. It's really exciting because it's like Goku and Vegeta are doing different paths. I think it's what the fans want. I think we're all kind of over. See, in Dragon Ball Z, the archetype is always, one guy goes Super Saiyan, and then everyone goes Super Saiyan later, and then one guy goes Super Saiyan 2, and then everyone kind of goes Super Saiyan 2 later. And then in the Buu Saga, Goku turned Super Saiyan 3, but nobody cared because two guys fused, so then two other guys fused later. Like, that kind of was like the whole thing, was like, people would do a milestone, and then other people would follow suit after doing the same milestones. And it was always it's not that it's done in a boring way because the show doesn't present it to you like you have to care. The show's like, oh look, Trunks Super Saiyan, Vegeta Super Saiyan, it doesn't matter. Everyone's Super Saiyan now. Catch up. Keep up, keep up, keep up. So that's fine. That's the way it should be. Dragon Ball Z's writing is great. In fact, a lot of people mock the writing when they try to talk about how Naruto's a good show, and it's like, when I talk about how good Dragon Ball Z's writing is, I don't have to compare it to other shows because it's good enough on its own. I don't have to say, oh, but it's because this show's bad, but this is what. No, 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 no. I don't believe in that. Dragon Ball Z is a great show. I don't want to judge anyone else's shows they like. Dragon Ball Z is a great show. But what I also like is Dragon Ball Super, and Super's got a far more divided. There's no consistent opinion amongst all the fans on Super's quality, and that's because the art and the animation, those are two different things. Yet both seem to be kind of poor. Even static image shots of characters aren't really that appealing. And then the animation is normally like repeat cycles and stiff movements, extremely stiff movements. And it seems so weird. Coming from me, I'm a big fan of the Fate series, and not that Apocrypha's got the best animation, but if you watch something like Fate Zero, the animation is so beautiful, and then you watch something like Dragon Ball Super, and you're like, this is the opposite. This is like the lowest of the low tier animation in anime, and it's kind of annoying that a show so popular as Dragon Ball has such bad animation. So that's one problem that people have with Dragon Ball Super, but there's so many problems people have with the show, and I'm going to try to condense them down to these bullet points. The first one being animation. I can't argue against that. I hate the animation of the show, and I wish it was better. And that's all I have to say about it, is I just hope it gets better. And if you watch Resurrection of F, the movie, and then watch the show, oh my god. But the show's animation got a lot better after the Resurrection of F arc. In fact, during the Goku Black arc, I remember thinking the show finally had great animation. Not great, but the show's animation was it was fine. It was perfectly fine, and it was because Dragon Ball Z originally didn't have the best animation either. It's just most people don't care because that was the past. And you don't judge a past anime based off its animation, because considering how limited the animation is in some of those shows back then, the show visually looked really good, and the art was amazing, so it didn't matter. Dragon Ball Super doesn't have that great of art, and the animation isn't that great, and we're in the modern era where animation in anime is sometimes breathtakingly beautiful. But at least the animation in eventually got to a point that is somewhat reasonable. The art isn't quite there yet, though, and that's really sad, but they are definitely on a budget. I'll give them that. And I can't hate them too much because the action doesn't stop. The show just keeps going. We're on episode, what, 120 something, 122, 123, and we just have not had a break. If there's a break, it's like 1 week. It's never like a season. It's not like, hey, you only get Dragon Ball Super every fall of the anime season. No, it just keeps going. It just won't fucking quit. And so, it's stuff like that where it's like, I can forgive the animation quality. However, when the show's over and we look back at the show and watch all these episodes again, we're going to say, man, the animation sucks. And when you go back and watch a show that's already completed, you don't have to worry about that. And when the show's already completed, you can't just say, well, at least we get one every week, because it won't matter anymore. So it's the choice they're going with. And that's why I say you should watch it now while it's airing and not watch it as a marathon show, because you'll probably just get really burned out on the animation. Hopefully the story and the comedy will really take it for you. So let's talk about another factor of why people don't like Dragon Ball Super compared to Dragon Ball Z. This is definitely the second most complaint I've heard. It's definitely the complaint I hear so much right after animation. I always hear the animation part first, because not everyone cares about this part, but this is definitely a huge problem people don't like. And that is that they refer to Dragon Ball Super as the Goku show, because everything is about Goku. And this is so weird and peculiar to me. But I completely understand why so many people are annoyed with this, because this is not Dragon Ball Z. However, this is kind of like Dragon Ball, and this isn't the only element of Dragon Ball that's kind of made a big return in Super. Dragon Ball was a show that was kind of more lighthearted. It did feature martial arts stuff. The power levels and things didn't really matter. It was more about fighting styles than about just outright being more powerful. And it focused almost exclusively on Goku. If there was another character, it's because they were chilling with Goku that day. There was almost no episodes where it was like the whole episode didn't really feature Goku. Whereas if you watch Dragon Ball Z, the show is about getting stronger power levels. And if Goku didn't appear on the episode, that was normal. Goku only appeared in episodes when it was like a big fucking deal. Like, Goku only appeared in episodes when shit was going down. Goku didn't even really... When Goku came back to fight Nappa, he destroyed him in 2 seconds, and he fought against Vegeta. When Goku fought in Namek, he didn't fight Zarbon, he didn't fight Dodoria, he didn't even fight most of the Ginyu Force. In fact, he didn't really fight any of the Ginyu Force besides Captain Ginyu. That's all he fought was Captain Ginyu. And then, he didn't fight First Form Frieza, he didn't fight Second, Third. He only fought Final Form Frieza after the whole team fought him first. Then in Cell, he didn't even fight a single android. He did not fight one single android. He fought Cell. That was it. And then, of course, in the Buu saga, he spent a lot of the time just observing things. He did fight Majin Buu a little bit, but for a lot of the time, he just kind of observed things. And then he eventually fought Super Buu and Kid Buu. That was kind of like, at least the Buu saga kind of twisted it a little bit from what we know. We're used to seeing Goku only fight the final battle, basically. We're used to seeing Goku only fight a strong guy, and that's how the fight ends. Dragon Ball Z treats Goku almost like he's not the main character. It treats Goku like he's a secondary character. No, I won't even say like a secondary character. It's just that Dragon Ball Z has a shared spotlight effect. In Dragon Ball Z, the show is really about Gohan and Vegeta. And this is interesting because, Gohan is supposed to be like the person who the torch is being passed down to Gohan. And then Vegeta is Goku's rival. And so basically, the show is more about how Goku has affected everyone around him. And that's a big point because Piccolo is there, and Piccolo used to want to try to kill Goku, but now they're friends. And everyone who's there is just kind of friends now. Like 18 joins the friend group too, and that's based off Krillin's kindness. And that's the funny thing is that, back in Dragon Ball, Krillin and Tien, they weren't Goku's friends either. In fact, even Yamcha started out as a villain to Goku. No one who starts out in Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball are just Goku's friends automatically. They all have to like work their way into it, and Goku's just the nice guy, and they're always the mean guy, and then they always kind of learn a lesson from Goku about kindness and about what's important in working together. Of course, in Dragon Ball Z, that's another difference between Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, is that Dragon Ball Z, the entire show, is about defending the world constantly. It's about defending yourselves constantly. It's about, they're fucking superheroes. In Dragon Ball Z, they're superheroes. In Dragon Ball, they're not really superheroes. They're just a couple of guys who like martial arts. And Bulma's there. That's it. You know, Dragon Ball is like a lighthearted show about adventure, comedy, fan service. That's what the show's about, you know. But even Dragon Ball is exciting because it has the tournament arcs, as well as it has a main character who always wants to progress and get stronger and have to fight stronger feats. He's so into martial arts that he eventually just leaves Bulma to train and become stronger. And that's the fun of the show, is seeing how strong Goku can become. That's a constant that's in Dragon Ball Z, and in Dragon Ball Super, is that Goku is always trying to become stronger. And in Z, it's about the superhero team of all these collected, insanely powerful warriors that Goku has collected through his friendship to make their own super friends. And I understand why people like that the most. I like Z more than Dragon Ball, but I definitely say Dragon Ball has its own merits, and it's a fantastic show. I think it benefits more if you've already seen Z, because then you are more hyped to fall in love with these characters, and you learn a lot more about these characters that you took for granted, like Yamcha and Tien. Tien has so much damn character development in Dragon Ball, it's insane. But so does Gohan. Gohan has so much character development in Dragon Ball, it's insane. Vegeta has character development, but not on Gohan's level. Vegeta is mainly there almost to serve a similar role to Krillin, where Vegeta's main role is to make other people look good. Almost every time you see Vegeta, he just fails. Now, whenever he does prevail, it's usually a very minor victory, and it's usually like after it doesn't matter anymore. Like, Vegeta became really, really strong after Cell, but he became really, really strong after Frieza. But he never saved anyone. He didn't kill Frieza to save everyone. He did it later because Goku did it first. So, a lot of people complain about this with Dragon Ball Super, that it's the Goku show. And some people call it the Goku and the Vegeta show. And to me, as Vegeta is one of my favorite characters, Vegeta is not my favorite character because he is evil or because he does badass things. It's not just that he looks good too either. I think people like that he's evil, he looks cool, and he's really arrogant and powerful. I don't know, people just like that he's really powerful, but he's not quite the strongest. But a lot of people think that he could win. There's a perceived chance he could win, but almost every single time there's a confrontation, his existence is merely to make Goku look better. And that's why I actually like the Buu Saga. That's another thing. People are not always big fans of the Buu Saga. A lot of people don't even like the Buu Saga. I like the Buu Saga a lot because the character development it had for Vegeta was through the roof. It really developed that character. And it's why it's important that Vegeta is so prominent in Super, because what Vegeta learned in the Buu Saga was that he didn't have to keep being the same stupid asshole that he's been the entirety of the show. He finally learned, why Goku's so powerful. It's because he has a family, he has loved ones. He's not just an arrogant prick. And so Vegeta kind of adopts that normal human lifestyle and tries to become a father. And Vegeta seems like he has a good relationship with Bulma, which is hilarious because it's like, why did he even have a kid with Bulma in the first place? He seemed like just a guy who was going to abandon his son, and the only reason he was still on Earth was merely to become stronger. It's not even like he wanted to defend himself or the world or his family from the androids. He just kind of was there. He was just like, oh, a threat, and Goku wants to fight them. I shall fight them too. It's like it had nothing to do with anything, And that's another reason why Vegeta is a compelling character, because he managed to stay evil even on the good guy team. But then, when Vegeta finally does turn good, it's in the Buu Saga, and he learns all these lessons, and that's why we need him in Super to be prominent because, he's kind of like right up there with Goku mentally now. Not mentally, obviously IQ wise, but he understands why Goku does what he does. And he starting to care for Earth. He actually likes his family. He likes his son. He takes pride in his son. And that's another thing. When Trunks came back and you got to see Vegeta and Trunks train together, you got to see Vegeta train the character from Universe 6, the other little Saiyan boy. Vegeta's taking pride in actually being a prince, unlike how in Z, Vegeta didn't really care that he was a prince. He would say he was a prince because it was his status. He didn't really care about his people. He didn't really care about his he doesn't care about his father or anything like that. I don't think he even really cares that his planet was destroyed by Frieza. I think he only cares that Frieza did it because Frieza, did something that fucked with his life. I don't think he did it because he's like, oh, those people didn't deserve to die, Frieza. Vegeta doesn't care. He killed Nappa like it was nothing. That's something you should understand about Vegeta. He never cared about any of that shit. You always see this fan art of Vegeta crying and like punching Golden Frieza while he's dead. And he's like, you killed my family! You killed my planet! No, Vegeta's not like that. He would never cry like that. He would never do that. He doesn't care. Vegeta does not care about anything but himself. And that's how Saiyans are. Typically, that's how Saiyans are raised. They just don't care about anything but themselves. Vegeta was kind of, someone who grew a lot. And so I love the character development in Super for Vegeta. But does that make it better for people who want Gohan? Does that make it better for people who want to see Krillin and Tien kick ass? The show teases us and makes us think we're going to see Krillin and Tien kick ass, but they never do. They did eventually deliver on Gohan kicking ass, though, and Gohan's still kicking ass in the show. He has not stopped kicking ass since he has started kicking ass. But, it took a long time to get there, and it's still primarily focused on Goku. And I just want people to understand, what's going on here. Dragon Ball Super is definitely sort of a fusion between Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. It's not just Dragon Ball Z new. It's a new show entirely that focuses a lot more on being lighthearted and silly antics, and where the stakes are way not as high. The stakes are not nearly as high. In fact, just to make this incredibly clear, it starts off with meeting the god of destruction who destroys planets because it's his job, and he's trying to decide if he wants to destroy Earth or not, and they become friends with him eventually, and it's only because he wants to see Goku become stronger. He's like us, and then Goku becomes friends with all of these insanely powerful gods who have the power to erase everything, gods who are in charge of everything, and he becomes friends with them, and he's like, can we just have a fun time? And that's the whole point of the show. It's not nearly as serious as Z. Z is super serious. Z is like the most serious Dragon Ball can get. Because Dragon Ball and Super are not serious at all. Super is kind of like a return to form to Dragon Ball. Every episode features Goku. Goku's always doing something. Like in Z, I said, you can go entire episodes where you won't even see Goku. Or if you do see Goku, he's just observing. He's not actually doing anything. So, in Super, it's about Goku again. When you see Gohan, it's because Goku's flown to Gohan and he's talking to him. Almost sometimes you'll see segments dedicated just to Gohan or Vegeta, but it's like you're never going to see Piccolo just go out and have fun, or Tien go out and do something. You're only going to see Tien and Piccolo when Goku goes and hangs out with them, or when Gohan's training with Piccolo, So, and that's another thing. A lot of people complain about the lack of character development with Tien, and the fact that he is getting dicked on. Tien is just getting just dunked all over in the show. He's basically just exclusively getting his ass kicked, and he only did one thing the entire tournament arc, and that was fight a pretty stupid enemy, and he got wrecked. It's it's just annoying. But the thing you have to remember is that Tien already had a bunch of character development in Dragon Ball. Just like Piccolo had a tremendous amount of character development in Dragon Ball Z. So it's like, even Gohan, what's left to do with Gohan? His character arc is over. Everyone's character arcs are over except for the two has-beens, Goku and Vegeta, who have nothing to do and just want to fight and fight and fight. And so that's why, and they're the same bitter rivals they've always been. It's just now they're more friendly about it. Vegeta doesn't want to fight Kakarot to the death. He just wants to, beat him and be better. But I think Vegeta also wants Goku to stay around. Vegeta wants Goku to get stronger, so that way Vegeta has a reason to keep getting stronger. They're just playing a game. They're just having fun. They're just two dads doing dad shit. That's literally what Super is. Super is so relaxed, and that's because Z did everything. You can't go further from Z. Not everyone likes the Buu Saga, but if you don't like the Buu Saga and you don't like Super, well, watch the Buu Saga, because the Buu Saga is supposed to happen after Cell. You can't go past the Buu Saga anymore. In the Buu Saga, Buu literally destroyed the entire planet. Think about this. Really. They used their Dragon Balls to wish everyone back. How many times can they use the Dragon Balls to save people? Isn't it as if, you can only wish back someone one time when they died? Man, I could be wrong about that. Maybe the rules have changed since Dende became the master of the dragon, but either way, how many times are they going to, even from a plot perspective, or an audience perspective, how many times is the audience going to watch the Earth get destroyed and then watch the people get brought back with the Dragon Balls and have it still have relevancy? Something I really like about Super is that no one has died and no one has been wished back with the dragon, until this current tournament arc where we want to see Universe 6 come back, but we don't know if it's going to happen yet, and hopefully it does, because I like a lot of those Universe 6 characters, especially Hit. I think everyone likes Hit. I think Hit's the reason why people started watching the show all over again. People didn't watch the show until Hit was introduced, really, and they saw Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, and then, now here we are. Then the Goku Black arc happened. I think everyone was pretty much happy until the ending, and I think the new tournament arc is bringing people back again, and that's so what's another plot point then? Because I feel like I've talked about the Goku show as far as I can, and why I actually think it's perfectly fine to have the Goku show, only because the show is so much more lighthearted in nature, and I would not think it would be a good idea to make it as serious as Z. And I would also think it wouldn't be a good idea to have Gohan constantly training, unless you just want the show's rules to be, once you acquire a power level, it never dwindles, it always stays. If I had one complaint, it would be that while Android 17 has grown in power immensely, where he's probably could have been able to take on Golden Frieza if he wanted to, then why couldn't Piccolo have trained this whole time as well, just like Goku and Vegeta? Why is Piccolo just not doing anything? To me, it makes sense for Piccolo to also try to keep up, but I understand that Piccolo has been kind of left in the dust as far as power levels go. I mean, he really got... During the Buu Saga, he couldn't do shit. The Buu Saga, Piccolo was reduced to, Krillin status, and it's really sad because Piccolo was honestly, he was stronger than the Super Saiyans during the Cell Saga. When he fused with Kami, his power was so powerful, and it wasn't until Vegeta and Trunks spent time in the Hyperblock Time Chamber that he was, not on the same level, but he was still right up there. He's stronger than the androids. How much, what do I got to say here? Piccolo should be stronger than the androids, and so it's if Piccolo would have kept up training, we could have seen a really cool rematch between Piccolo and 17. But just like how Goku and Vegeta are just fighting for fun, 17 and Piccolo could be just fighting for fun. Either way, I love that 17's back, and I think a lot of people love that 17's back, and we get to see him kick ass. It's not as much as people want. People want to see more than just Goku all the time. But that's not what you're going to get with Super, and I've already got that memo a long time ago, so I'm never disappointed when I'm like, oh, Frieza didn't do anything this episode, oh, 17 didn't do anything this episode. And I think a lot of people were thinking, clearly the obvious thing to do would be make Goku and Vegeta wait for them to fight at the very end, and make Gohan, Android 17, and Frieza fight, so that way they can conserve their energy. And it's yeah, but you don't really know Goku's character type. And maybe it's because you've only watched Z, you never watched Dragon Ball. But Goku's not one who just sits back and does nothing. The reason why he observes so much in Z is because he's either dead already, or he's had the crap kicked out of him, and he needs to just wait. But here, the crap's not been kicked out of him, so he's always ready to fight. So yeah, it's just that's the way the show goes. Now, would the arcs be more interesting if, say, Gohan was involved with the Goku Black arc, and we got to see Gohan fight against Goku Black, and Goku was off doing this while they were fighting? Yes, it would have been more interesting. It would have been more interesting if the Goku Black arc was more than just two fights in the same location, and the future was not really explained much, wasn't really explored much, nothing really happened in the future, and like I said, they fought in the same location both times they went, and it was really silly how they went, then left, and then came back. It doesn't make any sense to me. So, yeah, I think the whole thing... Also, the fact that Goku Black left that timeline and came to Goku's timeline, but then decided not to do that again. Again, there's weird inconsistencies here with the Goku Black timeline, and a lot of people didn't like the ending with the Goku Black arc. A lot of people didn't like the solution. And a lot of people don't understand how any of the time mechanics even work, because it seems like the show has kind of went back on how it used to be. And also, there's the very apparent problem of Trunks having blue hair, that no one really understands why Trunks has blue hair. And it's like, yeah, why does he have blue hair? I don't know. Some people are thinking maybe he's Super Saiyan Blue. It's like, no, because his hair's down. Like, well, why else is his hair blue? I was thinking possibly it was a different Trunks from a different timeline. That this wasn't going to be the same future Trunks that we had the first time. But no, it was. It was the same future Trunks. And to make matters worse, this is probably the worst offense in my opinion, is the fact that Kid Trunks has pink hair and future Trunks has blue hair. And they keep interacting with each other over and over and over again. The two Trunkses, and their hair colors are different, but it's supposed to be the same guy from the future. And it's really weird. And when Future Trunks came back last time, he was around the same age, and his hair was pink. So it's just so strange, dude. It makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. But we got him back. And again, seeing Vegeta train with him was very therapeutic for me, because it was like, this is how Vegeta should have been the first time if he was a good father. I'm not saying this is how it should have been in Z. In fact, because it wasn't like that in Z is why it's good in Super. It's what makes Z a good show too. Vegeta wasn't a good father. It makes him compelling. He's like the opposite of Goku. He's like what Goku would have been if he stayed as like a space alien, slave warrior pirate guy that Vegeta was. So I think these are all great elements of Super. I'm just glad he was back. We all wanted to see what it would be like if there was an evil guy with Goku's power level, and I don't know if Goku Black was that, because the explanation with the gods and stuff. But I also kind of liked that there was an evil Supreme Kai, and it wasn't our Supreme Kai; it was a Kai from a different universe. But I kind of liked this Kai. I kind of liked that. I kind of liked that he was just like an evil Kai, and that was cool. And seeing him fused with Goku was kind of not that great in my opinion, but we got to see the return of Vegito, and we finally got to answer what happens. If Goku and Vegeta fused to Vegito, would they be able to turn Super Saiyan Blue? Yes, they could have. So I think there was a lot of good things that happened that the fans, should have been fine and appreciative of. And also, one thing I will say real quick. I should have been making videos back when the Goku Black arc was going on. Trunks turning Super Saiyan, people have named that thing so many different things. When Trunks gets that power boost of turning Super Saiyan, they never fucking explained it, so I understand why so many people don't understand what the hell was going on with that. I kind of figured it out. The way I interpret it makes the most sense to me, because everything else doesn't make any sense. Him getting God Key, him getting a new form of Super Saiyan exclusive to him called Super Saiyan Rage. These things don't make any sense to me at all. Some people call Super Saiyan Rage what Kale does, like what Brawly does. I don't call it, and Trunks did not activate that. I will say, yeah, it is kind of cheeky how he's got yellow power energy and blue power energy comes all around him, like he's about to go green hair like Brawly, but that's just not what we see. And it doesn't matter, because what really happened is simply it's only explained if you really think about it, and that's what sucks about it, is that they should have kind of explained it better. But basically, the way Trunks got the Spirit Sword that defeated Zamasu, well, kind of defeated Zamasu, was it was like power given to him by all the people from the future, sort of like how Goku can charge a Spirit Bomb. And Goku even said it looked like a Spirit Bomb charging above him, and that's why it was called the Spirit Sword. Now, it is because, like I said, people gave Trunks their energy. And that's why I think Trunks had that power energy to be able to take on Goku Black. Because he just got this boost of energy from all the people around him. Now, people didn't understand it because he had blue ki that looked exactly like God ki around his yellow aura, and his eyes were, like, not there anymore. So it was like he turned Super Saiyan for the first time or something, and his eyes didn't turn back on. But either way, that's the whole thing, though, is that he got power from everyone around him. It's not obvious. It took me a long time to really think about that, and that's the benefit of analyzing a show and rewatching it over and over and over, and that helps you finally understand what the hell's actually going on. But again, there's so many problems with the Goku Black arc. I understand why people don't like the Goku Black arc. And yeah, Super's best moments are definitely when they fight against Universe 6. And if some of their best moments in this new current arc are when they're fighting against Universe 6. And also, there's just other great moments involving other weird, fascinating characters in this new Universe Survival arc. And I think at the end of the day, I think it's some of the best shit we've ever gotten. And it makes me excited to see what's going to happen. That's the thing. I watched an episode of the Goku Black arc. I watched Vegeta and Trunks both use Gallic Gun or Final Flash at the same time or something. And it makes me really excited. And, stuff like that makes me super happy. Watching Vegeta pummel and dick on Goku Black. And he's like, why are you stronger than me? And he's like, because I'm a real Saiyan. I know how to use my Saiyan power. You're just a fake. Like, that's an awesome moment. These moments are awesome. And seeing Vegeta kick ass, seeing Goku kick ass, that's all I really want. And so, to me, Super's doing exactly what it should be doing. And that's because, again, we've already seen Gohan has nothing left to learn. Gohan's done every arc. And that's why in this new survival arc, Gohan's main role is, I finally got back to the power I was when I fought Super Buu. And that's all he needs to be at. He doesn't need any more than that. 17's arc is basically, I got stronger this whole time, and I'm more peaceful now. It's like, they don't really need arcs. Tien's just training people, and it's like, again, he doesn't really. There's nothing left for Tien to do. There's nothing left for any of these guys to do. They're all kind of washed up. Their time has passed. They were superheroes in Dragon Ball Z, and Super, they're just kind of getting stronger, but it's really only Goku and Vegeta getting stronger because no one else cares anymore. And that's the whole point of the show. Now, of course, there is still high stakes. Goku Black arc and the Universe Survival arcs were very high stake. Just the other stakes, it's just like Resurrection of F wasn't really that high stake. It's more just like a fun rematch between Goku and Vegeta, or Goku and Frieza. And I know a lot of people might have thought, well, Frieza could have destroyed the world. Well, he did destroy the world. The thing that was bad happened, but Whis reversed time and made it like nothing mattered. That's the thing. Stakes aren't really that high in Dragon Ball Super until Goku Black arc happened, where there was a chance that all human life would have been wiped out, and then not only that, but Zamasu would have possibly killed some gods, and if the Supreme Kais die, well then Beerus dies, and so that's an issue. People who can defend from the Kais, you can't. And you might think like, oh, the stakes weren't that high because Zeno-sama came. Well, Zeno-sama doesn't have to do anything. Zeno-sama wasn't even paying attention to the fact that Goku Black was destroying things in another timeline. Again, this is really weird because it's like it was a Zeno-sama of a different timeline, and now there's two Zeno-samas. Goku Black arc makes no sense to a lot of people. Doesn't really make sense to me either. But either way, now then of course the universe survival arc, the stakes are incredibly high. Because Zeno-sama has basically proven that he doesn't give a shit. Zeno will kill Beerus. He will kill our entire universe. He does not care. The show could end that way, but it would be super... I think no one would be satisfied with that. I think that would be kind of one of those FUs to the audience thing, and I don't think they should do that, because it would completely destroy the money machine that is Dragon Ball Z. I think if Toriyama actually wrote that in, the editors would come in and either fire him or finish for him or just make him not do it with a bribe or something. So what we're going to get is Goku's going to defeat Jiren at the end, but what we don't know what's going to happen is if the other universes will come back in some way or shape or form. We've got hints that Universe 6 might come back, but we don't know that exactly. We don't know which universe will come back. And the funny thing is, people say, well, what if they just use Super Dragon Balls to wish everyone back? Because they're not bad guys. And the reality is that, well, if Zeno doesn't allow that, then Zeno won't allow that. You know, if the Super Dragon Balls wish everyone back, Zeno will just kill them again. You know, Zeno doesn't really want all these universes in the first place. He wanted to, weed out some of the universes and destroy some. And that's why they're having this tournament arc in the first place. So, it's like... I don't know. It's like... the stakes are actually kind of high here. We don't actually know what's going to happen, and it's exciting. And not only that, but we're watching it for the reason why we watch Dragon Ball Z. We don't always... A lot of people, it might feel righteous to see characters save the day, but we're all here to watch them kick ass. We're all here to watch good fights. That's what we're really here for. And so Super's dropping the pretenses. It's like, hey, let's have some good fights. There's still high stakes, guys, but, it's more exciting to see the fact that Goku has activated a new form. Has nothing to even do with Super Saiyans. Kind of like how Goku mastered the Kaioken, which technically anyone could be able to do with enough training, I guess. But Goku can do these things that have nothing to do with being a Super Saiyan. And that's exciting. Whereas Vegeta is somehow pushing the Super Saiyan limits of God even further. And it's like these two separate paths that Goku and Vegeta are doing. And it's getting me fucking hooked. I'm fucking hyped all over again. I feel like a little kid. I feel like when I was watching Dragon Ball Z and didn't know how the next episode would go, it'd make me excited. I'd go talk to my friends. We'd all draw pictures of our favorite characters. I'd be drawing Trunks and Vegeta and being like, look how cool these guys are. And then, and all my other friends would be drawing Gohan because they loved Gohan. One of my friends' favorite character was Piccolo. And back in the Cell Saga, that was an actual legitimate statement to have your favorite character be Piccolo because he was a fucking contender. And that's the thing. It's the show was exciting as fuck when we were kids, and I think it's exciting as fuck now, but for completely different reasons. And I don't think you're wrong for liking the show, because I like the show. I understand why people don't like the show, but it's just I kind of wanted to defend Super here, and I feel like I've done enough to defend Super. But guys, man, if you hate Super, that's fine. If you like Super, that's fine. It's just a show. All I want to say is that if you're really upset about Super not being enough like Z, I don't know what to tell you, because I think you are missing out on something that's still got some great content in it, and you're just hurting yourself. And Super is not perfect. It's not better than Z. That's definitely not the case. It's just also good. It's fun, and I like it. Now, is Super better than GT? Oh, fuck. Oh, should I say my opinion? Ooh. GT fans can suck my fucking